What's up, my beautiful people? You are now tuned into the War Room, and I am your fight goddess, Chris Baldwin. And I am so honored and so pleased to have my dear friend, Orlonda Uffre. She's an extraordinary artist whose work beautifully embodies the essence of her Caribbean American roots. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, but now living in the Bay Area, Orlando's unique perspective blends her mother's Caribbean influences with her American upbringing, shaping her artistic expressions and sense of self. And I have been a big fan of yours, Orlando, from as long as I've known you. And I think that's been like 20 years or so, right?
At least.
Right. Well, welcome to the War Room, my friend. I'm happy to have you here because I know I've heard word on the street is it's hard to get you to sit down for an interview.
Sometimes that's true.
Well, I wanted you here because one, I'm amplifying independent artists and you are I want to say an internationally collected visual artist.
Yeah.
You've been in the Bay Area for a long time, and I'm still trying to save my coins so I can purchase one of your pieces to add to my collection. But tell us a little bit, about how you got started in the art scene, and, is that something you always knew you wanted to do?
Okay. Well, I've always been an artist, yes. And I went to the High School of Art and Design in New York, Manhattan. So I started officially, I would say, at when I was 13 years old, because that's,
Wow.
how old you are when you're a freshman, right? So that's when I started doing art officially, and just continued since then.
Right on. So then you went from junior high when you graduate college, and when did you have your first exhibit? Like when did
Wow,
you
my
do
first,
your yeah.
I'm not even sure I could tell you my first exhibit because it would probably have been in New York at the high school that I went
Wow.
to. And during that period, right after that period, the feminist movement took over, it took hold of the communities. And so my trajectory kind of slowed up for a minute because I was surrounded by feminists and there was all of this feminist ideology scrambling around. And so it wasn't until I actually left the Bay Area to come to go to UC Berkeley that I officially started following my art
Mm.
career.
So the feminist movement influenced your art in such a way that you left New York and came to Berkeley.
Yes, yes. And so I to do my undergraduate work because I was such a good student in the junior college in New York that I got a full scholarship at UC Berkeley. So that was lovely, and I did my undergraduate work there.
Now, was that during the Black Panther movement? What years
No,
are we
that was
talking?
after the black. That was 70s.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. I was in high school between 74 and 79. I graduated in 79.
Right, right. So that's about the same time. I was in my early years of college. And after that, I continued. I went to do a master's degree, which was my first master's was called The Transition from Female to Male Parthenogenesis in Myth and Religion.
What?
Yes, yes, yes. The transition, because in early art, the imagery is female. Prehistoric art had sculptures of women, and women were the divine prior to patriarchy.
Right.
So that was my first master's. Um, at San Francisco State. And from there, I just continued and started doing different projects. And because I was very active, I started creating different venues. So I was one of the people that was part of the original, perhaps you've heard of Brava for Women in the Arts. That's in San Francisco, and I'm one of the founders.
Oh,
Um,
that's fantastic.
yes, yes. So that's how that all got started, and then started having art exhibits in the late 80s. There were a few Black galleries in the Bay Area back then. Um, the Grand Oak Gallery was a one that I worked with considerably. And then also in San Francisco, there was the Bomani Gallery, which was hosted by Ashaki Bomani and her husband, Danny Glover. So that was exciting because I got to meet interesting people,
Right.
and they bought my art.
Love that.
Yes,
Tell me what are you working on now? Because I know you have three exhibits. And
yes.
how many like how do you prepare for three exhibits? I know some artists are, you know,
Well, you don't really prepare, you just jump in. So, it's interesting because I started with, if I think about it, I have 4 or 5 different series. So a lot of the galleries they want consistency. So I started putting my art into the format that they wanted, which was, what series is this in? So, like my first series in the 80s was the Orisha series. And I did paintings. I did a painting for each of the Orisha. Um, and it would, back then, I was very new at it. So I was like, okay, what color does Oshun represent? And so Oshun is the color blue and the number 5. And so that's how I started working on that that was the 80s. And then I did that trip I also started visiting family in the Caribbean. And my mother had 4 or 5 siblings that were surviving. And so I was grateful and fortunate to meet a few of them, and they started giving me and telling me the history. So my grandmother was sold in the Grand Turks, and my grandfather bought her from the English family that owned her. That's what my aunt told me. So I was like, wow. And then my grandmother, at once they did what they did, they had 18 kids. Um, and then they spread out throughout the Caribbean. And that's how I met a few of the remaining ones. And it was a blessing to meet them. They were in Curacao, um, St. Thomas, um, and Aruba. Some of them I'm not familiar with. I still don't know. But um, the cousins have transitioned and they're here in different parts of the United States. So that's how I met and got to know some of my ancestry. And it was very, very fulfilling.
oh,
Very.
that's beautiful. I love your Caribbean Crossroads collection. That's
Yes.
a beautiful. If folks, you need to go to her website, check out her portfolio.
And there's one that's right behind you on the top left. That's from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. You see the one I'm referring to, the woman on the donkey?
Yeah, just above right here.
No, on the other,
On
move
this
your
side
finger.
right here,
Yeah, right there.
right there.
Yes, yes. That's from the Caribbean Crossroads series.
Yes, we'll have to put a larger image up so
And the
folks can
one next
see.
to it is also from the Caribbean Crossroads.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
beautiful collection. So
thank you.
bold and brilliant. And it's
Thank you.
very, it makes me want to go to the islands, like right now.
Okay.
Right, exactly. So the Marlowe, t tell us about the work that you have at is it the Marlowe Gallery?
But the one that's behind you is RBA. It's a different gallery. It's the one in Oakland. Um,
Okay.
um, Randolph Bell Art Creative, and the one at in San Francisco is The Black Woman is God, and
I
that
love that
is
title.
yes, yes. Well, that goes back to my thesis, my trajectory about Black Woman is God.
Right.
Um, and so Karen Sinefru and her husband, Malik, are in charge of that in San Francisco. And that's a very, very powerful exhibit in the middle of the Union Square area. And
And that one's on Grant Avenue. Is that one
yes,
in San Francisco, the Marlowe
yes,
Gallery?
yes, yes, yes. So
And that's running until the 27th, correct?
that goes till February.
Oh, February. Sorry, I misread that. Yeah, so 2/27,
Yes,
25.
yes,
February 27th it runs
yes,
to.
yes, yes,
All right. And then the next one is going to be, let's see, this is an ongoing exhibit at the Abrams Gallic Cleghorn.
Abrams Claghorn Gallery in Albany.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And that's Albany, New York?
No, no, Albany,
Albany,
California. That's
Albany,
right above
California.
Berkeley.
Okay. Oh, yes, that's right. I remember now. It's been a minute since I've been to the Bay Area.
Yes,
All right, so the Abrams Cleghorn Gallery, that's ongoing, and then the RBA Creative, which we see some of these pieces here. That's in Oakland
yes,
at MacArthur on MacArthur Boulevard, and that's also ongoing.
yes.
That's beautiful. I love that your work is getting out there. Now, are you available for commission work?
Yes, I mean, I used to do that. I used to, but quite honestly, since the pandemic, the art world has slowed down, and not just for me. It
Right.
has slowed down globally because I pay attention. I get numerous emails and website uh, issues that I read about what how it's going in New York, the in Europe. Uh, Most of the news that I read says that things have slowed down, and so I'm not rushing to New York to. There was an exhibit and an article, maybe I'm guessing now, about 4 months ago, that was talking about how many large galleries are now going uh, virtual and closing shop. So, for various reasons, including the economy, crime,
Right.
um, all kinds of reasons that are not the most positive for the art world, but it is what it is. And so they've gone virtual. So I haven't had a show in New York for a few years because of that. And then there's always the issue of shipping the artwork and all of that. So I'm sort of gearing toward staying locally and
Right.
finding whatever I can here. And maybe even there's a few places in LA that I will be checking out.
Well, we'd love to have you come back to LA because we had you exhibit a couple pieces at our one of our art shows for Frida Fest. That
Yes,
was amazing. So, what's in the future now? You've got three exhibits going. Are you teaching art?
I'm
Are
retired.
you have retired? And so, what do you do in your spare time? Are you? Are
This
you,
is my first year in retirement. So I haven't,
have you gone out of your mind yet?
not quite, not yet, but but
Because I was like this.
it's
Yeah, I'm like,
interesting
oh
that
no, we got to do something.
it's interesting you would say that because I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I said, you don't realize until it's gone how much you relied on certain types of behavior, and in my case, my job. It was like, okay, now I don't have that job, so I'm not as busy as I used to be. And
Right.
so, what do you want to do with the spare time? So that's the question. What do I want to do? I also want to make sure that I take advantage of every moment because as we get older, we start to check ourselves and to keep track of what we want to fit into the rest of our life.
Absolutely. Now, do you do anything outside of any other creative expressions that you do or mediums that you work in outside of painting?
Well, photography.
Uh,
I've always done photography. My father gave me a camera when I was in high school. So, in fact, the piece behind you is a photograph. The middle one at the top middle, that one. Yes, that's a photograph, and that has an interesting history story because when I was in Haiti and Curacao, I I was standing by there's a museum in Curacao for the history of the slave. I forget the title, but it's about slavery in the Caribbean. And so I went there, and that pool of water was crystal clear. And then all of a sudden, these figures walked into the image. And I'm not lying, I swear, it looked like shadows of people walking into the image. And I felt like they were welcoming me. I felt
right.
it gave me goosebumps, sweetie. It was an amazing moment.
And
I,
you
I,
captured it on film.
I captured it on a photograph.
So was that a digital camera?
Yes,
Nice.
yes,
Folks
yes.
aren't using traditional film anymore, right?
Some people might, but that's a whole different
Right.
way to express because digital, has become so easy. And so to have a roll of film and take it and have it developed is an additional feat. So people, I'm not sure. I don't know how many people are still, and whether there's a pro and a con to that, whether people prefer digital over what would it be called? It's film, film or digital. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
And now with, artificial intelligence, then what they're doing with AI, um, it's just, I mean, the art world is like, some artists are so opposed to AI, they don't even want it being used in just basic little memes and stuff like that.
Well, it's because they're saying that AI can subvert the truth. That's
This is
one
true.
way of putting it. And to people don't want their artwork used and have AI sort of twist it and make it look like something else. And so AI might be problematic.
I would
But we don't
definitely
know yet.
say it's in terms of whether companies can copy and steal, like Walmart stealing the artwork from one of the artists down here in Los Angeles, Adrienne Muse. They just took her stuff and put it on a t-shirt, started selling it. And all
Really?
yeah, and all of her work is copyrighted. So it's like they don't care because they can bully you legally because they have the money to do it. And
I'm surprised to hear this because I thought the copyright was security, but it sounds like it's not.
it's not if the company that's using it can just defend themselves in court and counterattack you because they know it's going to cost you money to take them to court.
Right,
But it's
right.
just a shame that they get away with that stuff. I hope she sues them because, that
That's
to me is just straight up robbery.
well, plus it's so blatant.
So blatant. I mean, literally, it looked like the same exact image. Her
They
Kamala
didn't
shirt.
even
It was a
alter it.
Kamala shirt.
Wow,
Not right. Like, oh my word.
wow.
Yeah. But so look, where do people find you? Where do you have a art space in Oakland or you are just online?
I mean, I have so I live in a two-bedroom apartment in Oakland, and one of the bedrooms is my studio.
Oh, I love
Um, my place is a mess.
it.
Uh, so I haven't invited anybody for a while. And part of the reason that it's a mess is because I thought I would be moving. Um, and I wanted to move to a community. And because I live alone. And
Right.
I have people saying, well, what are you going to do with this? And what are you going to do with that? And so I was having these thoughts about, okay, I have to look ahead to getting older and what am I going to do? I live alone. My family is in New York. So I started looking at different senior housing communities. I did find one that was fabulous because you didn't have to leave except to go buy groceries. Everything else was there, but they're expensive,
Yeah.
very expensive. And in fact, I'll give you this is an aside. I went to see one 2 days ago here in Oakland and over by the lake, Lake Merritt. And I was stunned at the cost. The woman said to me, the entrance fee, there's an entrance fee. I won't try to get you to guess because you'd never guess. Everybody, when I say guess something exorbitant, they say 20,000. And I'm like, I wish.
It was
So
more than 20 grand.
189,000.
Well, are you buying the place? I mean, I don't
Yes.
understand. You're buying the place.
So what they've done is for older people who are retired or getting old, um, they sell their home and they put that money into this retirement home. That's what, and it's all part of the system. It's not like it's something that just happens occasionally. No, it's part of their format. And so when the woman told me that, I said, so and that's it? And she said, no, and then you have the monthly rent. So
So
I said,
200 G's plus rent.
right,
Oh my word.
right, right,
That is crazy.
right.
That's a
So
system, right? That's a scam right there.
it's going on right now quite a bit for older people who are looking for housing that they want to be in a community. They want to have neighbors. They don't want to be isolated in a house when they're 80, 90 years old. So they buy into this format. And I don't want to say this way, but a friend of mine who's also an artist, she said, "Oh, that's how they're going to get Oakland to turn white." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Who else can afford to do that?"
No, we just need to come up with our own system to take care of our elders.
Yes,
Because that is just ridiculous.
189,000. It's just it's outrageous.
Yeah,
So
that is
anyway,
pretty
that's
outrageous.
so I've been doing galleries. I'm looking into different locations. I have people asking me, "Are you interested in showing here? Are you interested in showing there?" Yes, I am, but I would like there to be a purpose and an end result in. I don't want to just show my work.
Right, you
I
want to
want
sell.
to, yes, I want to sell, and I also want to have um, conversations about it, our history, the history of the African diaspora. That's just like the art of living Black. Um, so, so that's my.
Is that your book? Is
Say
that
what?
your book, The Art of Living Black?
No, this is from back when Ray Louise Hayward, and there was a group, the original people who did who started our organization, the one that I'm no longer with. And this is a book that's full of different imagery and the art of living Black, our American experience, what it's
Yeah.
called. And it's dedicated in memory of our founders, Jan Hart Shires, Melba Lazenby, and Ray Louise Hayward. So I keep a copy of it. And to remind me of how much we've been through and how much we continue to struggle. And particularly now, I hate, I don't want to say this, but January,
I know. And we're going to need our artists more now than ever, because there are voices to express the pain and anguish that, we go through as a society there. So we need you guys. We need you big
yes,
time.
yes,
We
yes,
so
yes. So I'm glad that we have, the MOAD in San Francisco, that gallery. MOAD is the Museum of the African Diaspora. And I'm glad that it survived and that we have a few galleries that are surviving. And hopefully this will continue this, and hopefully we'll find the strength, the resilience, and I guess the financing.
right, that part.
Yes, that part. To continue this struggle because we
Right.
don't want to disappear.
So how would you recommend folks support Black-owned galleries?
Well, if they're local, they can go to them. If they're otherwise, they can go to the websites. You can, I mean, people are Googling everything nowadays, so it shouldn't be that hard to Google.
Yeah, but I
uh,
mean, are galleries offering memberships? How do they stay afloat?
by people buying art.
Okay, so then folks can not only become a member at their local gallery, but they can also purchase art from the gallery, and
Right, right.
that's how it works.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be the expensive, one of a kind original. It could be a print. Um, I just here at the gallery that's behind you, we had what's called Second Saturday at RBA. And that piece on the bottom on the left was purchased. The woman who purchased it is going to, we arranged to have her pay it in installments.
Okay,
And that's her piece.
cool. Outstanding.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else you want to share with the audience? Like, your upcoming, do you have any other exhibits that are coming up outside of the three that you mentioned? What's in the works for 2025?
I'll put that on my website. There's one in coming up, possibly. I was asked recently if I wanted to have a show in Vallejo.
Oh,
So I said, yes, send me the information. And she said, okay. And
nice.
so that's coming up. soon, shortly, I believe.
Excellent. And so how can people find you are you on Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook, Instagram, and also I have a website, orlondauffre.com.
OrlandaUffre.com, and I will put the link to Orlanda's website in the description below so you guys can check that out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. But now, any parting words? I want to definitely wish you a happy holiday, and I want to thank you for dropping into the War Room to share your beautiful work with us. Is there anything else you want to leave with our audience before we part today?
Ashe, Modupwe, Kinkamashema Ferifun. Blessings from the
Ashe.
ancestors.
Beautiful. Ashe. Well, look, folks, that's all we have for you today. It has been a joy and a pleasure to speak with my friend Orlonda Uffre. She's a wonderful human being and an amazing artist. So please go support her work, you guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell because I will be dropping another video. We will be back in the War Room talking sports justice at the end of this year with my co-hosts Eddie and Melissa. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this edition so I can amplify the voices and the work of our small business owners and our emerging artists and our artists that have been out
Ashe,
for a minute.
Ashe.
Okay, so you need to support Black art, support independent journalism, support our people, peace, love, and art, baby.